The news summary, good evening. The appeal of Vijay Construction Company Limited against the decision of Supreme Court Judge Ellen Carolus delivered in June 2020 will be reheard by the Court of Appeal. That was the majority decision of the Court of Appeal delivered yesterday in an application filed by Vijay Construction Company for the case to be reheard against the 20 million euros that it was ordered to pay to EEL. The case is related to the contract given to EEL to the construction company to build Savoy Hotel at Beauvallon.
The application was being heard by judges Fiona Robinson, Samyang Andre, and Gustave Daudet. Two of the judges, namely Judges Robinson and Andre, agreed with Vijay Construction Company that there had been a procedural irregularity which is substantial and fundamental in the manner in which the appeal had been heard and thus affected the administration of justice in that particular case. They said they have taken the decision to rehear the appeal as a remedy to the injustice done. The appeal was heard by Judges Anthony Fernando, who is the president of the Court of Appeal, Dr. Matilda Tumi, and Ogile Kidingake. They delivered the decision on the 2nd of October 2020 and upheld the other court's previous decisions for Vijay Construction Company to pay around 2 million euros to EEL as compensation for breaching clauses of contract agreements for the construction of Savoy Hotel at Beauvallon. Bernard Georges is the lawyer representing Vijay Construction Company Limited, and he explains the basis on which his client has filed the application.
We brought the application because we felt that two of the judges had refused to engage with some very pertinent points which had not been raised by either party in the appeal, but which one of the judges, the president of the court, felt he needed to be informed on. The other two judges, instead of engaging with these points and coming to a decision on them, maybe they would have agreed, maybe they would not have, instead of doing that, they categorically refused to accept, one, that the president had the power to reconvene the court, president of the Court of Appeal had the power to reconvene the court, and secondly, that the points were important and needed to be canvassed. So they kept away from it. The Court of Appeal today said that that was wrong, that there was the power to reconvene the court, and they should have engaged with the points raised and made a decision on that.
Regarding the application filed for Vijay to wind up, what happened after the application was put before the court?
The application to wind up was resisted, and at the end of the day, because there was a procedural mistake in prosecuting that winding up petition, the winding up petition was set aside, and Vijay didn't bother with it anymore. It preferred to concentrate on the hearing that we've just received judgment in today.
The government has confirmed that it has no intention of abolishing the visitor management platform Travaiserie. The minister responsible for transport, Anthony Derjac, made the intention known in the National Assembly this morning.
Minister Derjac was answering questions from the leader of the opposition, Sébastien Pillet, who wanted to know if the government will review its contract with Travaiserie with the aim of eventually abolishing it, because he says there were too many complaints from members of the public. Minister Derjac says there are two main points to be addressed: a fee that Séchilois is paying to return to the country, and an identification number for Séchilois who doesn't hold a Seychelles passport. He adds, however, that the system was introduced in light of the COVID-19 pandemic, helping countries to reopen or keep the borders open in the safest manner, and provides seamless travel experiences for visitors.
The number of active cases of COVID-19 presently stands at 262. This is 229 on Mahé, 16 on Pralin, and 17 on Ladig. There has been no new cases of COVID-19 related deaths reported since the last update. The Ministry of Health is asking every person to be engaged actively in preventing infection and its spread, and it is encouraging people to get vaccinated with their primary doses and boosters as soon as they are eligible. President Wevaram Kalawan has been presented with a copy of the 2021 Ombudsman report this afternoon at State House. It was handed to him by the Ombudsman, Nicole Girardi. Mrs. Girardi says she was able to discuss the challenges and needs of her office with the President.
Perhaps the most important is a question of being able to recruit the right caliber of people I need. Recruiting the right caliber sometimes comes with a price tag, and when you have limited resources, the price tag becomes a problem. Otherwise, it's some of the challenges include the sort of lack of cooperation sometimes from the ministries when you're trying to give them the recommendations that you think will help to improve the services, the public service they deliver. There is a degree of reticence sometimes.
Also at State House was the UN Special Envoy for Ocean, Peter Thompson, who is in Seychelles for the Ocean Summit held yesterday. His visit was to continue the discussion they started earlier this year in France at the One Ocean Summit about marine protected area and financing for these protected areas. This is in preparation for the upcoming United Nations Ocean Conference to be held in June.
This is where we cover everything from marine pollution to fisheries, from coastal ecosystem health through to law of the sea, scientific knowledge, sustainable blue economy. It's all covered. This is the big moment for our relationship with the ocean. So I think Seychelles, having been at the forefront of ocean action for many, many years now, when you think of your blue bond, the world first, when you think of the debt swap you did with the Nature Conservancy around your marine protected areas, when you think of your leadership on marine spatial planning, it's very important that Seychelles be there in Lisbon to discuss what comes next in our drive to conserve and sustainably use the ocean's resources.
Also in Seychelles are two representatives of the International Union for Conservation of Nature, the Coastal and Ocean Resilience Program Regional Head, Thomas Spana, and the Eastern and Southern Africa Regional Director, Luther Anuku. They visited the President to discuss the Great Blue Wall Initiative, which is to bring the Western Indian Ocean small island states together to push forward their ambition. Mr. Anuku says this initiative will complement the new initiative the Danifo Foundation announced yesterday, the Western Indian Ocean Resilience and Prosperity Initiative.
Yes, no, they are kind of similar initiatives. The only thing is that they build onto each other. And so the conversations we've had is the Great Blue Wall. His initiative is actually going to be a part of the Great Blue Wall and very supportive of the Great Blue Wall. The Great Blue Wall is broader. It's much more encompassing. It's looking at not just bringing only the small island states, but also looking at the mainland states, which are by the oceans, supporting this initiative. So we were going to work together in collaboration, and that was part of the discussion that we had yesterday.
And that's all we have time for right now. We'll be back at 8 for the Creole News Bulletin. Bye-bye for now.